recorded live.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be across the nation or around the world. Once again, you are listening to the VMware Communities Roundtable Podcast. This is podcast number 739. My name is Eric Nielsen, and with me today I have my regular favorite co-host, Corey Romero. Today is Wednesday. What is today? Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Corey,
yes,
how you doing?
Eric, I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're just on all cylinders here. You know, finishing up after the Explore conference in Vegas, and now we're getting ready for the UserCon in London and the Explore on Tours. It's happening, I think, in London as well as somewhere in Asia. I forget whether it's Singapore or somewhere else over in Asia. The Explore on Tours. I know the London one is sold out. So we're excited about that. That's a good one.
Mumbai, Singapore.
I think it's Mumbai. I think Mumbai is
Mumbai
next
is
week.
One of them.
Right.
Yeah. Mumbai's is it next week or is it tomorrow?
I thought it was next week, but I wouldn't swear to it. Don't know.
Yeah.
I know I'm getting on a plane next week to go to London. So I know the London one is next week because I'll be there. We're going to be there with the code labs and the machines and home lab machines. So that should be exciting. We're excited to be there, and it'll actually be better than the Explore Vegas code lab because I've got a bunch of fixes, right? You know, you always give these sessions and you learn from what people are doing and what people are telling you, and the operations console and licensing and a bunch of stuff that you're like, oh, okay, and tiered memory, advanced scripting. So should be fun again next week, and I'm tweaking slides so that it's better than it was this week. And so happy about that.
And so for Mumbai is actually September 16th. So correction there, it is not tomorrow, the 11th. It is the 16th.
Right. I was going to say, I think it's the same week as what I'm going to be at London. So London is 17th and 18th. Mumbai is like on the 16th. So all next week, Mumbai and London. And then I know they're doing one in Germany.
That's the one that starts tomorrow. Yeah, that's tomorrow and the next day. So that's 11th and 12th. Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. Yep. Okay. So Frankfurt's going on. And then I know there's one sometime later in the month as well.
That's November. Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm a mess with my schedule today.
I was going to say, I thought Germany was in November, but wasn't going to argue with you on that one. Right.
Nope.
But,
sorry about
that.
Yeah, you can go to the Explore blog. It has the schedule for Mumbai,
has the schedule.
Paris, Sydney, Tokyo, and Frankfurt. So
just to set the record straight, nothing is tomorrow. Nothing is this week.
Nothing is tomorrow.
They kick off next week, and I'll be in London. Mumbai is next week. Germany, I know, is in November. And I think there's 2 or 3 others that are stretched between now and then. So yeah, go check that out. They are selling out. I think France isn't sold out yet because all the French were on their August vacations. So if you're in Paris or around, I think it's in Paris, you can go sign up for that one. And there will be VMUG meetups in each of the cities when there is a Explore on Tour. So excited about all that, and I'm looking forward to the.
I've heard selling out too. Is that right?
The what?
The vMugs are selling out too. Is that right? Oh, I think we lost your internet. So as we wait for Eric to come back, so just to go over the schedule, so Mumbai is September 16th, London is September 17th to the 18th, Paris is October 15th, Sydney is October 22nd, Tokyo is October 29th, Frankfurt is November 11th and 12th. And we're still waiting for Eric to come back, but so very, very busy time of the year. And this is new for us. So normally we go from... Eric's machine died, so we're going to wait here. So anyway, so normally we go right from Las Vegas or San Francisco traditionally for VMware Explore right over to Barcelona. But now since we're not having the Barcelona, we're going to these Explore and tours, and they're all over the place, which is really interesting and fascinating at the same time. And it was really cool to see a lot of the Europeans come over for the Las Vegas event. And so I think I saw more European folks vExpert wise at the US event than I have in the past. And so it was really cool to see the support and the amount of people that came over from Europe to join us at Explore. So it looks like we've got Eric back.
Yeah, you did get me back. My
Yeah,
battery is
there we go.
struggling here on this
Cool.
Mac.
Excellent.
I'm gonna have to do something with the battery. Gonna have to do something with my battery on my Mac because
Yeah.
it's at 0% and it's not charging. And so, anything could happen here. If so, I'll come back on my phone. But nonetheless, yeah, Corey, I'm excited about the Explore on Tours. Excited to be there next week, and the show goes on, and everything is good. And I would say that everybody's happy at VMware right now. The event went happy, and they announced that there will be an Explore next year as well in Vegas. So
Yes, I
excited
heard
about
that.
that.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know the
In the
location
meantime,
yet.
yeah. In the meantime, what we thought we'd talk about today is the vExpert program, and just the fact that you guys had a great event. I think the vExpert meetup and the vExpert jacket giveaway and the vExpert photo, I think, was the highlight of the community event in the community lounge over the course of the 3 days. It was just really impressive. And when you look at the keynote, if anybody's gotten a chance to go watch the keynote from Explore, I would highly recommend you do that.
Yes.
It is the vExperts were mentioned. They did vExpert interviews on why VCF, what VCF meant to them. I mean, the vExperts were front and center, right?
Yeah.
What's his name? What's his name now? Talked about vExperts and the wannabe vExperts. What's his name?
Paul Turner.
Paul Turner. Yeah. So Paul Turner did a call out to wanting to be a vExpert as well. And so, thought maybe we just take a little bit of time and talk about, where vExperts are going, right? I mean, vExperts have traditionally been bloggers or book writers or VMUG chapter leaders. But now, as community changes, right? Community is changing because Broadcom is more of an enterprise play now, right? We don't have the Fusion workstation, buy VMware at the Apple Store kind of scenario like we did for a lot of years, where desktop was big, universities were big, our university program was big. So you had a lot of people that were influencers because it was fun, and we went after the desktop market, right? Now you look at it, we're going after the enterprise market. We are in the enterprise market. We are an enterprise play, full stop, right? We still have commercial customers, but I wouldn't say we're going after desktop anymore. And we're certainly not going after B2C consumers, right? Like we did before. So what does that mean for the vExpert program?
Yeah, well, alongside of that, there's also a shift on how people are finding answers to their questions, right? With the use of AI, right? We're traditionally going back to what you said. Traditionally, vExperts are bloggers, right? They're still creating a ton of content, and we still need vExperts to create a ton of content, right? In order for these AI models to find the right answers, they need to have that source of information come from somewhere, and it's it's vExperts. That's the answer. vExpert and VMware and technical documentation and everything else, right? But there's a ton of how-tos and all kinds of stuff that vExperts still create, and still we still need them to create that kind of stuff, right? The community does, and that's what we depend to leverage on. So.
Yeah, it's interesting that there's the AI tends to be there. There's no question about that, and most people are going to AI for simple answers, right? But then what I notice about AI is that AI has two fundamental flaws around doing IT. One is that it's a year behind because the models are learning, and the big vendors like Grok from XAI, right, which is Elon Musk's company, and obviously OpenAI, and then a couple others that are Google AI, Gemini. All those are like, they learn they train the model for like a year, right, where they're grinding with the thousands and thousands of GPUs, and then they cut it off, and then the AI engine is now cut off. And if you go ask ChatGPT how long ago, what engine I'm using and how long ago was it trained, they're always like half a year to a year old, right?
Right.
And that's not going to help me when I want a command syntax for tiered memory on VCF 9, right? Because things have come out since then, right? Since it's been trained. And so there is this lag between what the AI engines know and what you need to know as an IT practitioner, right? But then if you have common questions that, we look at forms and we know there are form threads that, you get the same question over and over and over again.
Mhm.
And we have moderators that, try to manage those and aggregate up form questions. But those kind of things, those are good for answers. So I feel like there's going to be a tiered strategy around community content. There's going to be real-time community, which has to come from vExperts, has to come from bloggers, has to come from IT practitioners that are doing it out in the field that can answer those questions and write about it. And then there's what the AIs will pick up and then be able to answer the common questions that everybody asks, right? And I use AI quite a bit where I'm just, hey, what's in, XYZ product? And it answers it and it's perfectly accurate because that XYZ product has been out for a couple of years now. Where if you need syntax for things or architectural strategies, blogs kind of the way to go, right? And so
Absolutely.
now, because there's this two tier, right, where the experts just use blogs or books, and it was fine, and that's that. We didn't have to worry about this two tier thing. Now we kind of have to worry about, okay, the blogs need to be out there, but then how do we train the AI to be able to handle that second tier, right?
Right.
And I think customer support has always had this, right? The tier one, tier two kind of strategy for immediate questions, current questions, hard questions that are in real time, and then the other tiered questions, which are like, hey, these are just bread and butter kind of things that we should have answers for. So are you guys thinking about that when it comes to vExperts and what to do with any of this?
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I've been working on a project. I've been the term I've been using is the vExpert AI model training. In the sense, it's vExpert Geo, and then a model training, right? So Geo stands for let me bring my notes here. Generative engine optimization, right? And that's essentially optimizing these AI models with the knowledge that's current, that's up to date, right? And so the project that I'm working that I recently started kicking off is this idea of having vExperts create content on 4 different levels, and then feeding those engines that content, right? So to give you an example, right, there's the first level is just a beginner basic introductory level, right? And so there's articles that we need that are 600 to 800 words at like an 8th grade level. And then it goes all the way up to like cutting edge, which are graduate level, college graduate level articles where they're close to 2,500 to 3,000 words per article, right? And so by creating these articles, and they're all fact-based information, right? By creating these articles, we can create a full index in like a GitHub repository, or we can use other places too. But primarily we're going to focus on using on GitHub, and we're going to build this index and this information within GitHub, and then feed the models this information, right? And so the models will go and consume this information. There's 2 ways that models consume information, right? And one is a hey, here is our entire library of information. Go read about it and study it and figure it out. And then the second one is here's our repository of information. And when you have a query, come pull a book off the shelf on vSphere, and then we'll feed you everything we know about vSphere in our model. And when I say model, I say our repository of information is what I mean. And so there's 2 ways to do that, and we're going to use both, right? Because the 10 or 11 models that we're focused on all use a combination of those two. And like for instance, like ChatGPT form before uses GTI, right? Where now ChatGPT 5 requires that you use the RAG model, right? For on how you get the information at the ChatGPT and these engines. And so so by having this wealth of knowledge and having it right at the edge of the AI models and given to him will speed that process up of that 1 year lag that we're seeing now, and be able to go in and answer these questions with incredible accuracy compared to what we're seeing now. Right, like when you go right now, if you had ChatGPT and say, "Give me a list of all of VMware products," that product list is completely wrong. Right, things aren't branded correctly. There's products that we just no longer have. We've end of life that they're still on the list. So we need to start training to that level, all the way to the graduate college paper level on vSphere and how it fits into VCF.
Right. That makes sense. So you're working on a program for vExperts then. If I just summarize this, we're going to program for vExperts to allow them to target information that we need for the AI training, right? So
Mhm.
providing them lists, and we've always done this with requests via email,
Yeah,
but a little
right.
bit structured, a little bit more structured approach where here are topics you could cover for AI training, right? And if you generate that AI training, then we'll make sure that we put it either in a RAG model or in the right model that would then allow AI engines to pick it up. So that's one thing, right? That you're providing them ideas. Um, do you also train them on the code itself so that if an AI model wants to go to their site and scrape their content, they'll have the structure in place on their content to be able to allow the AI engines to pick it up?
Yeah, there's actually a script that I'll be working on when we get closer to that, that part of the process that will just do it for us. You just literally just turn the script on, give it a URL, and it will build that JSON data that we need, and then you just take that JavaScript and the JSON data and place it on in your article.
Right. And I guess when I was listening to you, because you told me about this and you've been working with different people inside of VMware by Broadcom to make this happen. Um, I first question, like, well, what is this going to do to bloggers, right? Like, what's going to happen to bloggers if we're training AI engines with their blog? Like, they don't get any traffic to their blog. What does this mean to bloggers? But I guess in that conversation of tier one, tier two, right? You still get people coming into your blog because you're tier one. You want to get this information in real time. You don't want to wait a year for the AI engine to show up with that information, right? But then if they are
Right.
common questions, right, then you're giving to the community. And I guess to some degree this has been a natural state of community in general. When I started out, it was BBSs, right? And
Mhm.
you had bulletin board systems and you uploaded and you download, and that's how you got shared stuff with the community, right? And then along the way, somewhere forums showed up around 2000, 1998. Web pages showed up first. I guess web pages
Yeah,
showed up, and
yeah,
so
yeah.
static web pages were there, and you could make a static web page, right, and build a web page. And we created a thing called Big Admin that had all the answers, and we manually updated the web page. That's people would mail me scripts and mail me stuff, and I'd go in HTML with blinky text and update the page. And that was somewhere around 1998, 97, right?
Yeah, yep.
That
Blinky
that be,
text.
that became the community. It was like it was better than BBSs, right? All of a
Yeah,
sudden now you
absolutely.
you didn't have
Right.
to have phones and modems. You had the internet, this thing called the internet, and with HTTP, right? And then didn't take long, maybe 2001, 2002, it became forums, right?
Mhm.
Jive and a couple of these other guys made forums, and all of a sudden you had a real-time question and answer, and then you could attach your documents to the forums, and that became the place that you shared with the community what you learned. You still didn't get a lot of credit. There wasn't a lot of brand around it. You had your
Right.
user ID, and we had the old forms points,
Hmm.
right? So you could
Yep.
be a
Yep.
novice or get up to the genius level. And the
Yeah, and you had
thank
your
you was,
rankings.
yeah, the thank you for that was you were answering people's questions, and you were basically got a ranking, right?
Right.
But then blogs started to show up, right? And all of a sudden you could have a branded blog. So we wrote a policy on allowing our employees to do blogs with brands, and you were allowed to be a blogger, and you were allowed to have a private brand, and as long as your manager didn't have a complaint, or you could escalate it to so we set up a whole policy on blogging, and then we made the external blogger program. And somewhere in the line, that's where the vExpert program spun up too, because we realized that we would have recognition for all these bloggers, right, that were there. And then also Twitter became a thing. And then,
Hmm.
we also expanded it out to VMUG chapter leaders and other things you were doing, book authors. But who writes books now? Nobody, right? So even, the transition has gone from different media types, from BBSs to, to Twitter to blogs to now. And then books were popular back in 2010, 2008, 2009. We had book signings at Explore, and they were like, they were popular, right? And they never paid. You would spend a year writing a book and maybe you'd make 10 grand, right? And for the amount of work that, it was a buck a book. You said you buck a book royalty and you'd sell 8,000 books. And so over the course of 2 years, you'd make 8 grand. But you got the recognition of being an author, and that was cool. But now you see the technology change, where it was blogs, but then now you're looking at AI engines, and AI engines are just another interface to that community content. And there will be tiered community. There will be, now maybe one day, Gemini and others will get much more real time when it comes to the generative engines, right? But
they will, definitely.
Yeah, they will at some point. And they've kind of addressed linking to people's content where it found it on Reddit or it on, they give the authors and things a little bit of credit. If you pay attention to the AI response line, right, you do get some credit. But the real credit is, look, you're just writing the content. If your content shows up in an AI engine, you'll get a little icon there, and it's just a user interface to shared community content. And honestly, if you look at VMUG chapter meetings and VMUG, like, we go because we're using the product, we've learned about it, and we just want to share what we've learned. And whether that's sharing on a blog or sharing it in an AI engine, for me, you're not doing this for money. You're doing this because you want to help others, right? And helping an AI learn how to do what you just got done spending 4 weeks of your life learning how to do, which is what I do. Like, I spend forever learning something, then I write a blog about it, right? And then that's what
I'm in
I
that
do.
process now, learning about on how to make this all happen, right?
right. And then once you learn it, you share it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think that that's kind of what's going on here. So take me into the, if you're listening to this, community members are listening to this, like, and I want to write a blog. I'm writing a JSON file with the data from my blog in a structure that I then can deliver, so the AI engine can then pick it up from a robots file and know what to do, and then parse that data that's in a JSON file. And do they have like parameters in the JSON file that JSON is just a structured, kind of almost tagged format of a file, right? So can you give me a little insight on what the structure of this stuff looks like that I'll have to put together?
Yeah, so the structure will. I mean, I've been looking it up actually right now as I kind of go through this. I've seen it a few times. I've read it a few times. I don't know it off the top of my head. The things that I do know, the structure in the JSON model or JSON file will have the author name, right? The title of the article, the article content, a summary of the content. The process on how we assure that this content is accurate, right? It even has that in the JSON file of was this reviewed, right, by someone at VMware or else, right? Is this and then who owns
the
this
confidence
content,
level,
right, exactly. So it has a lot of this machine
readable
code is what they call
you're
it.
just giving it your data. You're just giving your data arguments, right? You're answering all the arguments that the processor wants, right? Do you actually put the data of the article in that as well? Like, do I have to rewrite my blog article and stick it in the JSON objects?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, I'm not confident saying 100% yes or no on that. I know that there's a summary in there that we put in there. I'm actually looking it up right now, so I'm actually going to be able to tell you here in a second.
So that's what you're working on, as a project to define all that and put that in place, and then have some training for vExperts. But if you're hearing about this, you can probably go Google it yourself. Our goal is to get you to the point where you're aware of this, and as you generate your blogs, you can also generate the needed JSON objects for training the AIs, right?
Right. Yeah. So I can take you through it here. So it has an article ID, title, the URL, the repo path, where it exists in the GitHub repo, the product, the version, the level that you're writing at, beginner all the way up to the college level that I was talking about earlier, keywords, author, the review structure, who it was reviewed by, the review date, and then ground truth. Ground truth meaning that is this so the information that's out there, right? That there's information that a competitor could put out that's false about our products, right? Ground truth means that it is actually content that is been delivered by the owner of the software, right? So VMware has delivered this information about VMware. So that means that's ground truth information, right? And so in the file, in the JSON file, also asks, is this ground truth, right? What's the checksum? What's the content format, right? Is it HTML Markdown? Is it just plain text? What is that, right? The last modified date, right? The release date. Documentation type. Did this come from a KB? Did this come from a community generated content? The ingestion status, right? Has this been ingested yet, right? Then the content summary, and then various sections within the article itself, right? So there's a whole bunch of data that we put into this JSON file. And I'll drop this in chat here for you. And I know others won't be able to see it, but you'll be able to see it, so you can understand a little bit more kind of why we talk through this.
No, and I can actually put it out on the public chat, because I'm an administrator here.
Perfect.
So
there you go. Yeah,
I can go over to comments, and I can put that on the public chat. There you go. If you're watching this on YouTube or LinkedIn, you can see that format. Right. So interesting. There's a little bit of confusion on my part, right? And maybe we don't know the answer to this yet, but it is something that I'm excited for you for building this out as part of the vExpert program. Is that we can train people on how to do this. One of the questions that it seems like this format is, if I'm putting it in GitHub, right? If I have a software product in GitHub, this format seems to be very much like, hey, where's the resource repository for this? Is this something that I've developed as part of the product? That kind of thing. I wonder if there's slightly different variables for things that aren't a software product, right? Like where I just want to train the AI on, Eric's poetry, right? So I'm doing a poetry blog,
yeah.
and I'm sure there is, right? Something like that.
Yeah. So this model is designed for all types of things, right? So not only are we doing VMware products from vExperts, we're going to do things on our programs as well, our marketing programs, right? We want to write articles on vExpert at these different levels, right? And so that way, when people ask questions about whether it's a product or it's a program or a platform or whatever it is, even in events, you can do this for VMware too. That the information is accurate, right? And it's
Right.
the most up-to-date information that we have.
Right. I updated a blog article on the Advantage program, right? On how to get your Advantage licenses, your 128 core VCF licenses. And I went and updated the article, added some notes in there. And ideally I should, tag this information and get it to train the AI engine, so that when you ask an AI about Advantage, how do I get the license, it'll learn all that and pick that up, and then update that. So same kind of thing. I need to go stick that in my blog, and I have a hackathon blog I'm getting ready to publish, and I want to do the same thing there, right? So again, if you're a blogger, I think this is going to be key. It'll be interesting to see if there's like a WordPress plugins that show up for bloggers, where you can actually just click a button and it goes through your blog article and figures all this out and generates the JSON objects and then publishes them, so that I don't have to do anything.
Yeah, I think most of the, so when I was talking about earlier about how this stuff will just be generated by a script, all of this data will exist in a Google Sheet, right? And so that's also part of this process is you store the information in a Google Sheet, and then the JSON objects are delivered or built off of the information that's in in that Google Sheet, right? And so everything that exists is already in that sheet for tracking and for versions and various other reasons why we need to have the Google Sheet. And pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'm still pretty confused by that whole portion, right? Like, I know we want to have a structured way to get a certain amount of data, back through vExperts and tracking that. But I could just see, like, if I were doing a random article that wasn't anything to do with anything we would have in our sheet, right? That I'd still be expert, still going to write some stuff, and
Right.
want to be able to tag it. Probably never put it
Absolutely.
in a sheet. Probably
Yeah,
never put it in a
absolutely.
sheet.
Well, the reason why you would want to have it in the sheet is you become part of the ground truth, right? Where if it's just out there on the internet, right, it's not part of the ground truth. And the ground truth is really what drives all of this, making this
Mhm.
official, carries, you carry more weight in your article if it's considered a ground if it's part of the ground truth or data sets that we have.
Okay, that makes sense. I could
Yeah,
see where you building a ground truth delivery to the AI versus
right.
if it just picks it up from my blog article, who knows how the AI engines assign a weight to it, right?
Right. Now, otherwise, competitors could, write all kinds of false information about your products and, do all kinds of damage, and
Well,
that's how.
I got to imagine that AI's trained today without having ground truth. They're just running through all kinds of content and
Oh, they
training
are
themselves,
absolutely.
right?
Mhm, absolutely.
So I got to imagine that's going to keep going, right? And that there will be tiers of information, ground truth tier, right? Which is vendor puts together repository, just does what you're saying, right? Build
Yeah.
a whole process around that. But then there's also just an influencer model where, we encourage you to write these articles and put some JSON topics in your your blog article. And, then it won't be ground truth, but it'll be something that AI will see and read
Right.
and assign its own weight to, right? Which is
Right.
the whole idea of AI. Now, it reminds me of, we call it GEO because it's generative engine optimization, kind of like search engine optimization, except search, it's G. And search engine optimization could always be manipulated, right? Like
Right.
there were search engine optimization strategies where we wanted to have many people point to our content so that it showed up higher in the Google search, right? And
Hmm.
vendors tried to manipulate that. I think our competitors tried to manipulate that. And then Google would sell you placement to manipulate that, right? Pay
Right.
money and you end up being at the top of the search engine list because you were a sponsor. So
Right.
it'll be interesting to see how much the the AI engines, look at the internet and assign weights to it versus go look at code repositories that have these, weights of truth or whatever you call the truth parameter, right?
Yeah,
Or
ground
whether,
truth.
ground truth versus how are they figuring out what is ground truth, and is there a vendor that gets to assign themselves ground truth, right? Like, could I set up a GitHub repository and use the ground truth and say I'm ground truth even though I'm just Eric, right? I don't know. Interesting.
Could, but part of this whole process is um, figuring out, how do the AI engines know that that this is VMware
Yeah.
ground truth information, right? Part of the process is linking to the repository from the domain, right? So from VMware.com, you've got links going to the repository, and so that's how the engines make these
Mm.
connection of, oh, this is actual ground truth because it's coming from their domain too.
Yeah, got it, got it. The
Yeah.
domain connection would
Mhm.
allow them to know, okay, this is
Yep.
something that I can
Yeah.
weight higher. Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Right. So just like VMware.com, as is ground truth for the search
Exactly.
engines when they're trying to figure out where is the the truth.
Right.
uh,
Right. Right.
this behaves the same way, right? You set up a link between your repository
Mhm.
and the domain name, and then you get to control that.
Correct. Yep.
Unless I'm vmware-eric.com. It's sneaky, sneaky. We had
Good
people
luck.
doing that
Good.
kind of
Good
stuff.
luck with
Yeah.
that. Good luck.
Yeah. We'll hire a company that'll tell us. We get an AI engine that'll help us AI engine the heck out of it. Right. So
Right.
but that's
Exactly.
neat. That's neat. Right. And I
Yeah. It's
know
it's
that
been it's been fascinating to learn this as I go along. Right. And yeah, it's been absolutely fascinating. And what kind of kicked this off was the question that you asked, a while back. It was like 4 months ago. How do you get your licenses as a community member? How do we get our home lab licenses? And the information was great. It was correct, except for one piece was missing, which was the certification piece. right? And then you went back and trained that and said, oh, no, hold on. I wrote a blog article, and it says in this blog article
Right.
that you've got to be VCP certified, for and able to get that home lab license. Right.
Right.
And so by looking at that, and then just the other pieces of information that have been incorrect that I saw along the way, I was like, how do we fix this?
Right.
How do we, this is obvious. AI it's obviously going in that direction, right? So how do we jump in early and fix this and make sure that when our customers come and ask AI engines questions, that they have the most accurate information that we can possibly provide them?
Right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. And so it's exciting because it opens up another channel, and it's
Mhm.
a part of the program that if you're helping VMware, we'll try to help you by getting you into the truth of record, whatever I got to learn this
Ground
name.
truth.
Ground truth. We'll get you in the ground truth, right? So that you can be part of, you don't have to publish on www.vmware.com now. We're going to have a GitHub repository that vExperts can upload their content. We'll vet it. We'll review it. We'll give you feedback on it, and then stick it in ground truth for AI engines.
Right.
And it's a great thing. Now, if I'm doing this, will that help me be a vExpert for next year?
Absolutely. So the first portion of this project that we're doing is focused on VCF content, right? So this is going to, it's starting in 2025. It's going to carry into 2026, which doing work in 2026, most of us know this, that's going to get you your vExpert 2027 award, right? And so if we finish this project in 2026, which I think that we will, the vExperts who participate from start to finish of this will also receive 2020 or 2028 as a thank you. So they'll get a bonus year past the year that they participate in this project with us. And it's not a ton of work. We have a lot of the experts that write a lot of great content. There is a lot of content that needs to be generated, of course, but if you break down the number of the experts needed for the amount of content that we need, it's not a giant number, right? It's like 2 to 4 articles per the expert, right, at various levels. And so by participating in this, and you don't even have to have your own blog, right? Like, we could put this information into GitHub, and that's just a way for you to start writing articles, right? So maybe you want to write articles, but you just don't know where to start, right? This is a really great pathway to jump into to start doing that, right? And the experts who are writing articles now can just jump right into the process, write their articles, publish it on their blog. We absorb it into GitHub, and we publish it out as a ground truth also. So yeah, it will definitely going to benefit the experts, and that's one of the things that's been top of mind for me is how do we make sure we really reward the experts for doing this work for us.
Yeah. So when you were chatting with the experts, I think you had a couple hundred of them come by the booth,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's the vibe of the experts right now? Like, are they coming around? We talked about how this year Explore didn't have a lot of the negative Broadcom licensing, that kind of thing. And we've watched the number of articles and the number of tweets, and Noel runs the advocacy.broadcom.com, which has got all the VMware content on it from submitters, and we're watching how much content's coming through. And the numbers are down, but only because we don't have Omnissa anymore. We don't have the end user groups people talking anymore, so that volume goes down. But what's the vibe from are they neutral? Are they coming back up? Is there some excitement around it, or are they just kind of like, yeah, we're doing it, we got it, but they're just waiting and seeing? What's your thoughts on the vibe? And be honed, right? Don't
No, absolutely. Yeah, no,
marketing
I'll
hype.
be 100% honest about it, right? So last year I heard a lot of negative things, right? I heard community is over, Explore is over, it's all over, right? We've heard this in the past before, right? What was happening in the community was you hear one rumor, and then that rumor gets spun into a million other thoughts, right? And everything, the world's ending. What we would see as employees, we knew what was happening. We knew what was going on, the pathways. And so my feedback to the experts was just watch, just wait. Broadcom's not here to ruin anything. We're just changing the processes. And what I've learned and what I've seen over last year versus this year has been night and day. I didn't hear a single negative thing about the program, about what Broadcom's doing. I heard more of, I understand it. I see what Broadcom's doing now. versus what I didn't see before or didn't understand why they bought VMware. I didn't understand where they were going. I thought they were just jacking up the prices and taking people's money and running, right? That's really what the
Mm.
conversation was about. Now people are understanding the whole purpose of why they bought VMware, their vision of VMware software and what Broadcom could do with it versus what we were doing with it before, right? VCF is an absolute monster. And I hear nothing but positive things about Broadcom, about the vExpert program, about community, and about VCF in general. And there were some negative things I heard about show logistics, but those whatever you'll hear that wherever you go to AWS conference or anywhere else, you'll hear negative things about whether it's food or whatever. This is big picture stuff, right? That we're talking about. I'm hearing more positive stuff. We're seeing an increase in articles being generated by vExperts, and every person I talked to about this AI project said, I want to help with this, right? Whether they're a blogger or not. I want to help with this. I've talked to people who aren't vExperts, who want to be vExperts, but they don't really know what they want to do, right? I don't know. I don't know where to start, right? Where I said, hey, this is a great place for you to start. You can start writing blog articles.
Let's say you don't want to blog.
Literally teach you, give you the topics of what to write to get you into the program, right? And so, it's been night and day difference between.
And this is what I would say about us, right? Now, me, Corey, me and you, basically, and and obviously Julie Klaus and Noel Greer and Gene Williams and Rebecca Moreland. Is that we were always pushing the envelope. Like, I can't think of another influencer / program that's like reaching out to the community and going, hey, we want to help you train the AIs. Let's put this together. That's the cutting edge, right? And no one's doing that. Most community programs are just like, oh, here's your Rosetta button, right? You can put it on your chest. Thank you very much for playing. We'll give you a sticker and a t-shirt, right? But if you really look at what we've done, and VMware has been this, right? And now we're VMware by Broadcom, but it's still just the same people. Is that we push the envelope, right? We're always, thinking about what to do next, what we could do next, where's community going, and let's lead community. Let's, the nicest compliment would be, Microsoft does an AI training thing with their MVP program 2 years from now. When they listen to this podcast and they finally find out what we're doing, and they go, oh, we need to be doing that too, right? Yeah. And people are obviously inventing AI, marketing integrations, right? We'll do some, but that's what we're here for, and that's good for our customers, because where do our customers get information? And let's get the community information to them. Yep.
Absolutely. And one of the things that I know that I think of quite a bit is when I'm doing these types of things, it's just like the gifts that we've given away in the past, right? The jacket's really, really nice. The other gifts that we've given away, those gifts are all focused around how can we help you, right? How can we help you in your career, in your path, with your information that you know? We're giving away home labs. We gave away home labs, and then we taught the expert how to install things on the home lab. Right? We're not giving away coffee mugs so you can get up in the morning and drink a cup of coffee. We're giving away a nice jacket to go wear at a customer event, whatever it is. So you got that brand to show off, to show who you are and what part of program that you're part of, right? And this program means a lot to me, and it means a lot to the vExperts, and I know it means for a fact it means a lot to Broadcom too. You saw it at Explore. They've got the vExperts up on the screen talking about the products, right? It's So
and
I'm very passionate about it.
I've asked people where is Broadcom going with respect to VMware, and I got a couple of interesting comments back that were all good, and this is from top level executives. One, the customers are getting it now. They need help with implementation. Right? Like they need help, whether it's VCP certification, training, home labs, getting it installed, HOLs, everything, because just like I've discovered this year, where over last Christmas I did all my training. It's work. It's not as easy. Defining your network is a lot harder than just installing, vSphere and doing vMotions around, right?
Right.
It's work there to learn those extra steps, whether it's vSAN or NSX or the operations console or fleet management, these things, and let alone AI workloads and the models that we support in the AI, management plane in VCF. So these are things but what the answer back was, we've done great. Customers are excited. They're adopting it. They're buying it. Now we have to, help them implement, right? And people go, well, does that mean that VMware is selling shelfware? And the answer is no. When we're selling it, customers are on board with rolling it out. We just need to help them, right?
Absolutely.
We need to help them, and the vExperts need to help them. Everybody in the ecosystem needs to help them.
Exactly.
Which I think is great. And then some of the comments that I heard back was that some of the big people said VMware's back, right? And honestly, it's VMware by Broadcom is back, right? Like, but the people that are going there now are there for a reason. And then next year it's going to be about commercial. We're going to expand back into commercial, right? Which is, this is what we found, Corey. I call myself the re-enabler, right? Like all we've been doing for the last year or two is since the Fling project and all the other projects is just re-enabling, tweaking and getting this stuff, turned back on because Broadcom wants it, likes it, is big on the community, and we just need to help them. And then they're like, you guys are shiny. Could you help other divisions? Right. We got other divisions that would love to have this kind of polish. Right. So not only are we going to, move it forward and push it back out into the commercial marketplace as well. Then we're also next year going to do some work on all aspects of, global engagement. Right. So I think it's good. The market's responding. The people are responding, and I would say that if you didn't get to explore this year, you missed out, but you should come next year, right? Because the sessions were packed, and reach out to Corey Romero. When are apps opening back up again? And are you going to do any training before the apps, like to get people? I feel like by the time the apps open, you've either missed it.
I already know where you're going.
Right.
Yep.
Right. It's too late. Right. The app opens and you have to. You've already had to do this, and it's kind of like, well, we're in September. Maybe we should do a little bit of the. Hey, you still got time. Go do these things. Because apps are going to open up in. When do apps open up? November, December? When do
December.
they open back up
mid-December they'll open. They'll close.
So I feel like there could be a couple of webinars that talk about, it's not too late. Here are the things we're looking for. Start on this journey. Right.
Yes. Yeah. That's one of the things I'm doing with the AI this year. And I know exactly. And when I said, I know exactly where you're going with this, I see it every year, right? Where we open up the applications and it's like, oh, I wish I would have known about this program and how I could have gotten in. Right. Because it is too late at that point. Right.
Yeah.
And so with this program, there are so many applicants who didn't make it into the program that I work with between the first announcement and the second announcement to get them into the second announcement. Right. To get them into that part and give them tasks of, hey, go write these articles on these topics. Come back to me in 3 months. Let's do a review and let's get you in the program. So I do a lot of that one-on-one stuff without even going through the application process, right? And so there's some of that. It's not publicly out there, where I have only one person, so it's it's hard to work with 100 people versus 15. But there is absolutely something that needs to change there, and this AI stuff could be part of that, right? Where come help us with this project, start blogging, give you some tasks, and then when you apply in December, you'll get into the vExpert program. You'll earn the award.
Okay, on a different aside, because we're coming up to the top of the hour here. We've been going for 48 minutes, so that's pretty good for us. I was coming back to do the podcast because the StreamYard gets blocked on the campus. So I have to come home, which is only like a 10, 15 minute ride, and still summer here, kind of. So I was riding my scooter. It dumped rain on me. I am soaked all the way through. Like right now, my pants are like soaked to my skin.
Really?
My shirt soaked to my skin. It rained, and when you're on a scooter and you're going 35 miles an hour, and I don't have a face mask because I just have a little half helmet, that water stings, Corey. That water stings when you hit in your face like that.
And it's cold.
It's cold. Less about the cold and more just about the sting, man.
It hurts. I know.
These things, they sting, and it's like I don't like that, but But here I am, and I'm gonna go get some barbecue. You can follow us on youtube.com/vbarbecue, VBARBECUE. Give us a like and a follow. My boss always wants to see our metrics, and so if you're listening to this and you made it to the end, the least you could do is go to vBarbecue and give us a like and a follow on the YouTube channel. Also, we are obviously on Spotify and TalkShoe and iTunes. So, you're probably already listening to this if you've gotten this far. So you're on one of those channels. You can like it and follow if you want. That would be good. What else do we have to follow up with?
Tell someone else about it. Tell someone about us as well.
Yeah. Oh, and we are going live again. So another thing we're recovering is there used to be a podcast page that listed the virtual, virtual speaking podcasts. It listed the something territory by Duncan Epping. That one. All his episodes, Uncharted Territory, as well as the community podcast episodes and some other random episodes. And we had that. It was podcast.vmware.com, and that got nuked by the transition to Broadcom. That's coming back. It'll be at blogs.vmware.com/podcasts, and then it'll be on the main vmware.com page under resources. We'll have podcasts again. And so that's where you'll be able to go find us. And so you can tell your friends, hey, go to vmware.com and look under resources. There's a podcast link there. You can find all the community podcasts. You can find the virtual speaking podcasts, the Uncharted Territory. And if you know of a podcast that we should link, that you think it's a good podcast, we have industry podcast lists there. And we also have, specific podcasts to VMware. We're happy to list other podcasts there as well, just to have a single page that gives you kind of what the podcast scene is, so you don't have to go hunt for them. And then we should probably make a JSON object and put it on the truth. What is it? Truth of all the ground truth.
Yeah, the ground truth that we'll put in the GitHub.
So that they'll know about our podcasts and everything will be good. Good. Well, Corey Romero, thanks for spending your lunchtime with me as always. And people get to hear you this time instead of you just always being the guy that gives us the vExpert report in the morning. But I am super excited about the vExpert program, the amount of corporate acknowledgement we're getting the last 2 years in the keynotes. And so it's all great. And now add some AI into it. Awesome.
And if you're listening to this, you want to become a vExpert, and you want to work with this this AI project with us, reach out to me. My email address is corey.romero@broadcom.com, and I reply to all my emails, and I'm more than happy to work with you and figure out how to get you into the vExpert program and working with us on this AI project. I'm excited about it.
Corey.romero@broadcom.com. Thanks for being on the show. Give him a mail if you want to be part of it. Yep. Talk to you later.